They then had 10 children, of which my great-grandfather, or Michelle, your great-great-grandfather, was the fifth born. His name was Henry Matthew Kretzmeyer, and he later then came to Kansas in about in the 1890s, uh, uh, and they settled in Clay County, Kansas, and he he met his future wife there, Magdalena Bear. They had their first born child in 1895, which was my grandfather, your great grandfather, and they had two children. He had my grandfather Elwood and his sister Sylvia, and then my great grandfather. My grandfather also had two children. My father being one, Orville, and then there's Orville had three children. Jay here, and my older brother Greg, and older sister Diane, and then I have two children, one of which is in the corner here, Michelle, the youngest of my two daughters, and her older sister, 3 years older, being Elizabeth Kretzmeyer. That's that there was tragic stories of tragedy with the immigrant. They had their 10 children. One died at a real young age of an accident when there was a storm. He went back to get in the house, and the house was closed up. There was a window open. He went to crawl through the window. Of course, at that point, they didn't have things that held windows open, and so when he crawled through, he hit the stick accidentally, apparently, that was holding the window up. The window came down and broke his neck, and so he died at an early age. And so also other things. My great grandfather Henry, he died at age 65 of a thorn prick, what would now be just considered blood poisoning, and a tetanus shot would solve. And he had traveled with my father back to Iowa to visit his daughter Sylvia, and this would have been, my father was 14, so this was 1934. They were clearing land and stuff. He pricked himself with a thorn, became deathly ill. My father had to drive back all the way from Iowa at age 14, and they made it back here to Kansas, and then about 3 or 4 days later, my great grandfather died at age 65 because of the thorn prick, and so a bit of tragedy there.
Any other stories you want to document for all time?
Well, I love
I like
love
to tell
telling
everything.
I love telling the story about my mother,
Okay.
and I had in the early years of VHS recorders, and had access to a recorder, and so I made several what I called fireside chats, kind of like we're doing now, only it was in person rather than over the internet, and so my mother, her father had a little telephone exchange in Morganville, Kansas. I'm forgetting, about 150 some odd phones on the exchange, and they had a switchboard. And of course, they always had an operator, and this would have been in the 1920s. And so before she went to college at Kansas State University, or back then it was called Kansas, was it Kansas? Wasn't Kansas Normal, I don't think, but Kansas Agricultural Mechanical,
Yeah,
maybe, I'm not
like
sure.
That.
But anyway, before she worked 1 year, and she as operator in the little phone thing. And so during this interview with her, I said, "Well, Mom," I said, "when you were an operator," I said, "you had a headset on there, and I said it would be possible that you could listen in on the conversations." And I said, "Did you ever do that?" And when I said that, this huge smile comes on her face, and her answer was, "Well, we weren't supposed to." And so anyway, that told the story that she obviously had at a time or two, and it was priceless to see her her smile and in that response. And so I've got that on tape. So.
Prick.
Yep, that picture would have been taken just days before he died.
Oh yeah, he has the thing on his hand.
First time I ever saw that, I'd heard the story, and the first time I saw that picture, just gave me chills. Because I'd heard the story, all my life, and then here I open up grandmother's photos, and here's this picture of him, and there's his hand, and I realized that, gosh, whew, that's pretty weird. Think of anything else extraordinary? Nope. So, see you later. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.